Ex-Trump supporters, what point did you stop supporting Trump and why?
For my mom, it was when she was exposed to news sources outside of Fox when she was hospitalized for something. Not COVID. And the staff said they didn't get Fox. Which had compelling enough arguments that the election was stolen narrative was false. I've never been a Republican. But my parents were at one point and my dad still is. We're very close and learned several years ago if we wanted to have a good relationship, we couldn't talk politics. I do know for a fact that he didn't vote for him in 2020. IDK what did it for him, but I do know he's a classic conservative and his opinion began to change when he realized Trump wasn't a Republican. He was just a power-hungry asshole. One of my best friends voted for Trump in 2016. But my other best friend and I just started talking to her logically and without judgment. And she slowly started to come around. Then COVID hit. And as a respiratory therapist at a children's hospital, she just had enough. I think people had one-on-one conversations with the people in their lives. And I know that spewing hate and shame at anyone who ever supported him is not helpful, and one-on-one conversations without judgment help. Thanks for your honesty in this question. I'm enjoying reading the answers. That debate where Trump couldn't STFU was one of the alarm bells. I liked how Obama said it recently on 60 Minutes. I thought and hoped that the weight of the office would dawn on him and make him take things seriously. Unfortunately, that did not happen. When he refused to condemn David Duke, ex-head of the KKK, and said that some veterans suffering from combat PTSD were not strong enough. After Home Alone 2. Not me, but my aunt, uncle. COVID did it. They were both MAGA hat-wearing supporters until COVID. My aunt is a retired nurse and was horrified by Trump's lack of leadership. Edit. They did not vote for him a second time. My dad was done with him after he insulted McCain post-death, but that lasted about a week. My friend told me it was the day he trusted Putin over the US when it came to election interference. I asked my mom and her answer was not necessarily January 6th, but when he tried to deny he enticed. January 6th. She has come a long way and now realizes she was close to becoming a QAnon lunatic. But now she sees he was a con man. I asked what drew her to him and she said her disgust with Hillary Clinton drove her away from the Democratic Party and basically into the arms of Trump. Now she's mostly disinterested in politics. When I realized the only reason I supported him was because of parental influence. He was fascinating on Letterman in the 1980s. Openly sleazy and immoral. Self-aggrandizing. A curiosity to watch. Difficult to understand how he could be human. Then I realized he was a malignant narcissist running a confidence game and the charm faded. I'm from a small town and my dad is a gun-toting Republican. I am very close to my dad and wanted to be just like him in every way possible. I remember when Obama was elected. I was 12 or 13. I cried and I honestly have no idea why. I think I cried because the outcome wasn't what my dad wanted. But I did not know the first thing about politics. When I left for college I became surrounded by people from all walks of life. Ethnicities, genders, sexual orientation, religions, etc. And I grew to love these people and realized how much hatred was being spewed at them from the right. Fast forward 8 years and I joined the military, and because friends with a Hispanic girl whose mom was not able to attend her graduation because she had been deported while pregnant, trying to go home to visit her sick mother. Her father was here on a visa and her brother was a dreamer. However, because mom was deported, She gave birth to her youngest in Mexico, and therefore he did not qualify for the Dreamers Act like she and her other sibling did. The whole motivation for her to join the military was so she could transfer citizenship to her mother, but can no longer do that because of the deportation. Father is legal here as he is on a work visa. She was one of the most hard-working, kindest people I've ever met, and her family were wonderful. Hard-working people too. I witnessed firsthand how the right with Republicans treat foreigners, and I am disgusted. I also don't believe that any one religion should be dictating this country. I realized the only reason I supported him was because I had been brainwashed by my parents, the media they subscribed to, into thinking that all Democrats were evil baby killers. Back in the 80s, when he didn't ever pay his contractors. I've hated this prick for 40 years. When he didn't do anything he listed on his first 100 days. I was out pretty early in the game. I voted Trump in 2016. I honestly thought putting a businessman in the White House instead of a career politician would slow down the radical divide in this country. Boy, was I wrong. He caused more divide than anyone else in history. He openly trashes liberal beliefs which make up more than half his citizens. I don't need a nice president, but I do need a respectful one. And he's the most disrespectful human being I think I've ever seen. January 6, 2021. I tossed my MAGA hat in the dumpster the next day. Last time I'll ever place so much faith in one man. Maybe it was a hard lesson I needed to learn. When the leak of the video about grabbing women's genitals. I mean, how is that not a deal breaker? Also making fun of a handicapped woman and saying his heroes don't get captured. It told me everything I needed to know. In 2020 I hand-wrote postcards for Biden encouraging people to vote. Never did anything for a campaign before, but Trump had to go. I grew up in a very conservative fundamentalist Christian household that raised the American flag and right-winged politics higher than the Bible. I was taught in church that you can't be a Christian and a Democrat. I voted for Trump in 2016 not because I really liked him, but because I really didn't like Hillary Clinton. Or so I was told to before I began to think about what I believed for myself. After that year, I was groomed by my brother, who at the time was an infamous figurehead in the alt-right white supremacist community. Damn near the right hand of Richard Spencer. I would listen to his Skype calls with Spencer from the other room because we had fairly thin walls where we lived. At one point, I was actually involved with the white supremacist hate organization that my brother founded. Albeit tangentially, I helped cut out flyers and posters that he would post throughout my town and the neighboring ones. In my defense, I knew little to nothing about his organization when I did this. Not that that excuses the fact. I can't really tell you when I began thinking differently. I know at some point I realized that there was a lot of what I believed that I only believed because it's what I was always told growing up. Slowly, over the course of the last 6 years, I've gone from being a borderline Trump supporter to someone deeply ashamed of many things my family has taught me growing up. I'm closer of a centrist in the context of global politics, which to my family now means I'm what they could call a raging flaming liberal communist. I still hold my Christian beliefs quite closely, but I'd like to think that they come from a place of love for other people, rather than making sure everything I do is correct and everyone else knows they're wrong.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.